Harper Audio presents The Boy from Nowhere by Gregor Fisher and Melanie Reid, read by Angus King and Caroline Guthrie.
Prologue. Time shall unfold what plighted cunning hides. King Lear, Act 1, Scene 1. A story has to start somewhere, so let it begin with two men, strangers to each other, but with lives that will run in parallel. Matthew Donaldson Mackenzie and William Blake Kerr were born in Scotland in 1888 and 1895 respectively. Both survived the slaughter of the Somme, married the same year, had children the same age, found jobs, and sought to make their way in the world. Eventually, their paths would cross, with far-reaching consequences. Matthew, the elder of the two, returned from the trenches to witness his sick wife give birth, and 2 days later he was to see her die. He was left with 3 motherless children, serious trench fever, and a damaged leg. In 1921, he remarried to a young dressmaker and took a job at a whisky distillery in a small village in central Scotland. He moved his family into a tied house, one of the houses under the hills. Remember this place, for we shall return here many times. William, the younger soldier, returned from war scarred by the sight of filth and disease. Educated and ambitious, he got a job as a customs and excise officer, married, and started a family. In 1928 came the move upon which this story hangs. William took a job overseeing 3 whisky distilleries within a mile of each other. One of them was where Matthew worked. So the lives of the two men converged at the foot of the stern Ochil Hills. The factory engineer and the feared exciseman were neighbours, briefly, in the houses under the hills, and then work colleagues for the next decade. We have no proof, for time hides such tracks that they were friends, but it is inconceivable they were not acquainted. William saw Matthew's small daughters playing outside, on the stone steps or on the drying green. They were much the same age as his own little ones. Victorians by birth, William and Matthew were God-fearing men of status, pillars of the community. One was a government law officer, the other a church organist and teacher at Sunday school. Freemasons, they abided by the social rules of a different age. One would die soon, but tragedy was to stalk them both. And one day, scandalous events would unite them in a long-buried tale of betrayal, love, and survival. Let's ask, just this once, is everything random, or do we believe in fate? Chapter 1. The curly-haired boy in the corner. I have always depended on the kindness of strangers. Blanche Dubois in Tennessee Williams' A Streetcar Named Desire. Thump. Pause. Thump. Pause. Thump. 3 thumps. Never more, never less. No cheery, hello. No cry of, that's me, sis. Just 3 dictatorial thuds on the bedroom floor with his foot. John Leckie wanted his breakfast. After a lifetime working the night shift, this was the signal to his wife in the kitchen below to say that he had woken up. It was 5 p.m, and Sis would prepare tea, toast and marmalade and take it upstairs. Mr. Leckie ate upstairs and then came down. A tall, stern, well-built man, ready to go to work. The child, sitting silently, for it was best to keep quiet, would look up and see the great long legs of his boiler suit appearing down the stairs. John Leckie was, it's fair to say, as much a creature of routine as he was a man of few words. There was no conversation. He put a long, dark trench coat over his overalls, clapped his grease-stained engineer's bonnet on his head, and picked up the lunchbox Sis had prepared earlier. His lunch, his piece, was a thing of precise wonderment. It stayed exactly the same for nigh on 50 years.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?